It's our Martin Luther King special of Country Fastball from ESPN. Joining us is Doug Glanville. And Doug, talking about the great doctor on this holiday weekend, what are some things that come to mind the weekend of the birthday of Martin Luther King?
Well, you can't help but think of the inspiration. Absolutely transforming our country in terms of tolerance and understanding, crossing over historically divisive lines. And I think that inspiration carries today, especially as our country has become so global. You see the impact of people being able to access so many different cultures, faiths, religions, creeds, orientations. I think that spirit is really coming true, and I certainly think of my time in baseball as like a central pivot point as you see the diversity of all these teams now.
You got to play Major League Baseball. You're Ivy League educated man. Think of some of the things that you've gotten to do, and then as recently as maybe a generation before you, and certainly two generations before you, and how those opportunities, they didn't come quite as easily as they do these days for somebody like Doug Glanville.
Well, they may not have come at all. I'm very fortunate because I recognize that my experience is only because of these great men and women that came out and took on an established system that was so suppressive to groups of people. And my opportunity, think of Jackie Robinson, Martin Luther King, just expressing and tapping the original tenets of our country, just say, look, this is what we're trying to be about, and let's live it. We don't want to live in a hypocrisy. Let's live in these words. And I know that I don't have any of these opportunities without that spirit.
Baseball is very much a game of stewardship, where you're fortunate enough to be in it. You try to make it better for people coming after you. Is there some of that legacy that we're talking about? Is there part of that that's incorporated in your role in baseball?
Well, yeah, I think baseball is a great mentoring game. You pass the torch, you pass it down, and what you're passing is that history and recognizing that the people who came before you opened those doors. I think directly of someone like Will Venable in San Diego. I was the first African-American Ivy Leaguer, to get there. He became the second, and there was this huge gap between the two, and that I recognize as passing that torch, just getting that opportunity. And now he was able to come to the big leagues and sort of be himself. There wasn't this, what Jackie Robinson had endured with stiff upper lip and just tormented internally. So, it's a great game to display how these legacies are passed on, and obviously Martin Luther King's message is one of the greatest you could possibly pass on.